Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about my 2025 reading goals. If you've been around for any of my previous reading goal videos, or if you watch my reading journal videos, you'll know the types of goals that I like to set for myself, and some of them are similar to previous years, but I do have some new goals for this year as well, so let's jump into them. So every year I like to increase my reading goal by 5 books. So in 2024, my reading goal was 65 books. So that means in 2025, my reading goal will be to read 70 books. Now, at the time of recording, it is still 2024, and I have already surpassed reading 70 books for this year. So you might think to yourself, well, Kari, why don't you make it an even bigger goal? Because obviously I'm going to read way more than 70 books this year because the year's not over yet. So why don't I make an even bigger, more extravagant reading goal for 2025? Well, the reason that I don't do that, so if we take the example of this year, 2024, my reading goal was 65 books. It's really motivating to me to have been able to reach the 65 and then go even past the 65 books. That's really rewarding to me. It makes me feel good. But if I had blown, like if I had made my reading goal 90 books or something, because in the previous year I had read so many books and I thought that, oh, I think that that's possible, that's just like asking for disappointment. So I really like to stay to increasing by only 5 books, no matter how many books I read the year before, because it really just keeps things attainable. So all that to say, in 2025, my reading goal is to read 70 books. I do hope to read more than 70 books, of course, but we're staying in attainable numbers for the goal itself and just hoping to surpass the goal. My second reading goal of 2025 is to read my 25 books in 2025 reading list. So I have already filmed a video detailing all these 25 books that I want to read next year. I'll link it in the description box below if you want to check those out to get the details of those 25 books. But my second goal is to read those 25 books. So obviously, if my reading goal is to read 70 books, 25 books from that list will hopefully be these 25 books. For my next reading goal, if you've been here for a while, you already know that I like to aim to read at least 30 minutes a day. Now, I don't literally expect myself to read 30 minutes literally 365 days of the year. It's just something that I shoot for. However, for 2025, I do want to aim to actually read 30 minutes every single day for at least 2 months of the year. So, you know, the 10 other months of the year, I can miss a few days if I need to, if I want to, but for 2 months, I need to read at least 30 minutes every day for those 2 months. It can be whatever 2 months I want, but it has to be for 2 months. My next reading goal is to read even more translated fiction than I did this year. So that's already been a reading goal previously, but I'm keeping track of how many translated fiction books that I am reading, and I'm hoping that in 2025 I will read the most number of translated books in 1 year than I ever have before. I just love reading translated fiction. I don't know what it is. It's just really interesting to see how authors from other places around the world, non-Anglophone countries, are writing, and the techniques that they like to use, the themes that they like to focus on. I just find it really interesting, and it's very rare that I don't like a translated book. Obviously, of course, we can't say that every translated book is always going to be the same. Absolutely not. We can't say that every Anglophone book is always the same. Far from it. But just something about it, maybe it's just like the types of translated books that publishers choose to get translated, that there's something similar between them. I don't know, but it's very rare that I have a bad experience with a translated book. So all that to say, I want to increase the number of translated books that I read in 2025 from the number that I read in 2024. And in that same vein, in my reading journal, I keep track of which countries all the books that I'm reading are coming from. I have this little map, and every time I read a book from a new country, I color in that country on my map. So you can see my status right now. I have read books from all of these countries that are colored in 2024. So while I have read books from other countries that aren't colored in here on this map, I just want to start fresh from January 1st, 2024 and go from there. So this green, I'm going to copy paste basically this map into my 2025 reading journal and just go from there. So the next book that I read from Canada, for example, I can't color in the map because it's already colored in. But if I read a book from Australia, for example, then I can color in Australia on my map. If I read a book from Russia, I'll be able to color in that country on the map. And just a little precision, it's not that the book takes place in the country, it's that the author is from that country. So with that all in mind, one of my 2025 reading goals is to be able to add at least 5 countries to this map. So you can see which countries I've already read from. I want to read from 5 new countries that are not already colored in on this map. So obviously I have a lot of the easy ones already filled in, so those aren't going to count. US, Canada, England, Ireland, Japan, like those are easy ones for me. I want to be adding 5 new countries to this map. Obviously this goal goes hand in hand with my other goal of trying to read even more translated fiction in 2025. My next goal for 2025 is to balance my my reading, not schedule, but like how like the order that I read my books better between my regular books and my manga. I found that this year I would just like plow through a bunch of manga. Like there were a couple months, well, maybe 1 or 2 months, I guess, where I only read manga, I think. At least 1 month I only read manga. It might be 2. I'll have to look at my reading journal. But there was a good amount of time where I was only reading manga. Like I was not in the mood to read regular books. But I think I get in this mindset where I'm reading manga where it's like my mind is like clicked on only to manga. And I don't want to get in that mindset. I want to be able to go back and forth between regular books and manga. So next year I really want to prioritize making a better mix and going back and forth better between regular books and manga. My next goal on this list is actually a goal that I have previously set for myself a couple years ago and I didn't accomplish it, but I want to bring it back because this is something that I want to accomplish, and it's to catalog my entire library. I have over 1,000 books in my library, and I bought one of those little beep beep scanner things to be able to catalog my library, and I started it and I was just so overwhelmed. Like, it's going to take forever, but it is something that I really want to do, to make a little spreadsheet of all the books that I have, to mark if it's read or unread, all the genres, like all of the information about the books, and then just be able to see stats about my whole library. I just think that that would be so fun. Like the stat nerd in me would love having all that information. So it is something that I want to dedicate myself to doing. I know it's going to take forever. And obviously that's the only reason I haven't done it yet, is because I have all the things that I need to do it. I just need to commit to the time. So I'm hoping that in 2025, I will make the time to make this happen, to take inventory of my whole library and have like a spreadsheet so that I can have all the stats on all the books in my library. We'll see. My next goal is to read at least 25,000 pages in 2025. So as of recording, I've read about 19,000 pages so far, and the year's not over yet. So I think that 25,000 pages will be a good goal to set for myself next year. Again, kind of like my only increasing by 5 books every year goal. It's attainable. I still have to push myself to get there, but it is attainable, and I'll be proud of myself if I can surpass 25,000 pages. I will say that I do want to wait and see December 31st exactly how many pages I've read this year, and if I do reach 25,000 pages by the end of 2024, I will increase it. Let's say I'll increase it to 30,000 pages if I do achieve the 25,000, just so that you're up to date on my goals. But I don't think I'm going to hit that, just based on how much time I have between now and the end of the year. I don't think I'm going to hit that. So let's just say 25,000 pages for 2025. So those were all my reading goals that I'm going to be focusing on for 2025. I would love to hear your reading goals for 2025. I'm always open to adding more reading goals, and especially when I get to my 2025 reading journal, I have lots of space to add reading goals for 2025 in my reading journal. So give me all the ideas. What goals are you shooting for 2025? I would love to hear from you in the comments. Let's talk about it. So I think that that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you again next time. Bye.